Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Moto Racing podcast with episode 113. I'm joined today by Cameron. Hello.
Hello, and me only.
Yeah, Lauren
Just
is
the bros.
swimming. The bros, yeah. Buddy. Yeah, it's the boys today, a boys podcast, which, as you know, is going to be an absolute nightmare. But
Yeah, that makes it sound like it's going to be worse than it actually does. It's going to be terrible anyway. But
that sounds like it's going to be like,
yeah, let's not.
But
anyway,
I think, firstly, I hope everybody's had a good week, as always, of course. There's been a lot of talk today. It's Monday at the moment, at the time of recording. Obviously, we've just had the Japanese GP, which is quite good, I would say. Lots of drama across all three classes.
Yep, needed it. I think, we needed a little bit of drama from the weather and race decisions and everything. It really kind of helped the weekend. Well, I say helped the weekend. It, from a spectator's point of view, it did, I'd say.
Yeah. And then, of course, you look over to BSB at the drama and you're like, maybe that's a bit too much.
Yeah. What an exciting weekend. I tell you what,
my word.
The Discovery Plus subscription paid for itself this weekend, didn't it? So we had that.
Yeah.
And then we had World Superbikes as well. We had an instant classic there, I must say.
Yeah.
I thought
Top
race
rack.
2 was ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The shapes that he was getting that bike into and not hitting the deck, I was like, come on.
Unreal. Like, because
Ridiculous.
there's one, and he overtook Bautista at turn 1, and he was sideways. I think he'd lost the front or whatever. The bike was going all crazy. Still hit the apex, still made the overtake count, and still led out of that corner. And you're like, what the hell, man?
And we can only thank Pirelli, I'm sure. So, and Moto2 is going to be just as exciting next year, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Top Rack's talent as well. We can thank that as well.
Oh, yeah. That.
There is that element.
There's that, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though, because he lost the sprint race and he lost race 2. Both times he was slipstreamed over the line by Alvaro Bautista and smashed his bike each time. I think he obliterated the screen in the sprint race. And it's insane because they had like the sector thing on screen. It was like sector 1, Top Rack gained like a quarter of a second. Sector 2, he gained another tenth. Sector 3, he gained another tenth. Sector 4, he lost 5 tenths because that Ducati just overtakes it like it stood still.
And the thing is, it wasn't even slipstream over the line. It was just he didn't have to. He was out. He was out of the slipstream. By the time they were lined up for the straight, he just passed them.
Yeah,
easy.
It just passed them easily. Yeah, and it must be absolutely so frustrating for Top Rack because, personally, in my personal opinion, Top Rack was a better rider all weekend long. I think Top Rack fully deserved to walk away with 111 to his name. He absolutely defended the life out of that lead, but lost it both times because Bautista could just zoom past him on the straight. And it wasn't like Bautista was doing anything different. Of course, Bautista had to do something to stay in touch with Top Rack because you still have to maintain a distance enough that you can slipstream past them.
Yeah.
But without that advantage, Top Rack could have won that by 6 seconds, I think, each race.
Yeah, and the thing is, you do have to also appreciate the fact that there was, it's not like there was a couple of Ducatis in front of Top Rack. It was just Bautista. It was just those two. So there's got to be some rider input there, the rider making the difference on Bautista's behalf as well. But
yeah, of course.
You're right that clearly what appeared to be, to my humble sitting at home eyes, was Top Rack was clearly riding to a much higher level than Bautista.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Whether like Bautista could have had any more if he had to, possibly.
Yeah, if he needed to.
If he needed, like Bautista, he did enough and he didn't have to do any more. To win because he won. But it is. I mean, the frustration that you feel for Top Rack in that kind of situation where he's clearly he's working so much harder than Bautista just to make up these lap times that Bautista is getting half a second of on the straights is
for free, pretty much for free.
Yeah, for free.
He's just putting extra work in that.
Yeah, he's just got to hang on and get the right gear, and that's it. It'll be interesting to see if Toprak can pull the same kind of antics on the BMW next year. If it's got the same sort of stability on the braking, and he's able to really just point that thing into all kinds of shapes just to get it around the track in a ridiculous pace. But Gerloff, certainly good signs from him this weekend as well. So
yeah, he got pole the other week as well, didn't he, at Magny?
Yep. So
potentially, good.
Yeah, good signs, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing with Toprak is he will be helped at the BMW because it's got a much better engine. Realistically, that BMW is the fastest bike on the grid in terms of top speed and power. That M1000 puts out insane numbers of power. Like, I think it's touching like 260 brake or something stupid like that. It is so powerful, but of course, as we saw with Honda in 2015, a bike that's too powerful can also be very unrideable, and I don't think the riders that are on it at the moment can extract the best out of it, which is why they've hired Toprak, who can not only get the best out of a bike that is struggling, he can ride it well over that limit and put it in places it really shouldn't be. Especially when he was on that Pedicini Kawasaki and was winning races on a satellite bike against Jonathan Rea on the factory bike. Like, that's unheard of these days. And so I think him being in that BMW will actually be a step up more than a step down.
I certainly hope so. And because obviously we know that like the bikes today are really just a sum of their parts, aren't they? Because with electronics and aero and everything coming into it far more so than they ever used to, BMW might have more power than the Ducati, but the Ducati can put it down better. They've got like everything on it is so sorted that it ekes above all the other packages on the grid. But it'll be interesting to see if Toprak with his experience and his raw talent can just take BMW up to the kind of same levels as Ducati and then not lose out on the straights.
Yeah, because if he can not lose out on the straights, I think Toprak has been obscenely good this year. I don't think people actually realise how good Toprak has been this year. I'll get the stat up now whilst talking about it, because Alvaro Bautista has been off the podium 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Toprak has been off the podium twice all year, and it was 2 DNFs. Yeah, that's all it took, 2 DNFs, and Toprak he's only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins, I say only, but the rest have been second and thirds. He has had 20. Well, no, what is it now? That's what? How many rounds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. He's had 31 podiums out of available 33, with 2 of them being DNFs. Like, that consistency is insane.
Yeah, and it's like, was it the his winning year that he only had like 2 offs, and neither of them were his fault. Like, one of them, the front fender like came off or something.
At Portimao, it came out from underneath him,
Yeah. So I mean, he's an absolute freak of nature, and if he was on a Ducati, he'd had this championship tied up ages ago, I think. He'd have taken the piss all year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next year, actually, see things shake up. And then obviously with Johnny Ray on the Yamaha as well. That could be interesting.
That'd be very good. Very excited for that.
Yep.
Yeah, and Bassani has been confirmed to Kawasaki as well.
Yeah, just some interesting musical chairs, as they say, in superbikes. I'm buzzing. And now that I can watch it with my Discovery Plus app, God, you'd think I'm sponsored or something. But honestly, like, this weekend was great because I got up fairly early. I didn't get up early enough to watch like qualifying and everything.
Lucky for some.
Yeah, well, that's the life that you chose. But like, I get up quite early, have a little coffee, and I'd be watching MotoGP in Japan. Then that would finish, and then I would just be able to sort of continue my day with BSB, obviously in Donington this weekend, or last weekend, whatever you want to call it, and with the Superbikes in Portimao. like the weekend was just filled with bikes, and it was rather wonderful.
Sounds like you've had the weekend of a lifetime, doesn't it?
I mean, I was working, but like thankfully with my job, I can just sit there with a laptop on my couch and watch the bikes as I'm working. But
oh yeah, that sounds like a great life, doesn't it?
Yeah, like you take what you can get. Had a good time.
100%. Good, I'm glad to. Yeah. Speaking of BSB, as you've just mentioned it. Tommy Bridewell is back in the headlines again, isn't he?
Whoa.
Like, the one person to not take out is your teammate that you're half a point off in the championship, and he wipes him out. And then, I haven't seen the interview, but apparently it was not very flattering whatsoever afterwards either.
No, so I did watch the interview, so I watched all this happen.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't getting much work done at the time, but
imagine.
Yeah, no, the interview was not flattering. It was very just sort of, it was everyone else's fault but me. I was clearly on another level because I came from the back of the grid.
Yeah, even though Glenn also did the same kind of progression.
Yeah, I don't know. It did have sparks of when we were talking about Jake Dixon a few weeks ago at Silverstone. Just, immediately after the fact, and it was... tensions were still running high and everything. It maybe wasn't the best time or the best look. But...
no.
Then also, like we keep talking about, we need these spicy characters in the racing just have things interesting. Because now we're like, wow, these Beer Monster Ducati guys had BSB wrapped up, and now they're just they're gonna implode. They're just gonna be so focused on each other that Kyle Ryde or whatever is gonna take this championship.
Yeah,
because they're just gonna keep knocking lumps out of each other. So yeah, it was pretty wild, I gotta say.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've got the last races at Brands Hatch, and I mean at Donington, Glenn Irwin scored 0 points.
But the whole weekend,
Glenn Irwin got 0 across the board.
Jeez,
Tommy Bridewell just scored 8 points out of a potential 75. So there's a lot of conspiracies. I'm not saying I believe in this. I've just seen the conspiracy. Obviously, Tommy knew that he was probably going to crash when he was coming down. Is it Lukey Heights? No, it's not Lukey Heights. What's it called?
Oh, like penultimate corner, we'll say.
No, it's a really famous corner. I should really know that. Someone's going to be shouting at me now. I'm going to get the corner for you because I don't want to embarrass myself as more than I should. The Melbourne hairpin. There you go.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, as he's going down, Tommy had a choice there. Smash into Glenn Irwin or smash into Kyle Ryde. And the conspiracy is he's gone for Glenn Irwin, knowing that Kyle Ryde wouldn't have been as much of a risk in the championship, whereas your teammate, who could pick up the full 25 points there and take a considerable lump out of your championship, because we go up to the lead from 0.5 to 25.5, or you can just take your teammate out and stop him from scoring any points as well.
Yeah.
That was a big little conspiracy I saw.
A big little conspiracy.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't believe that conspiracy, I just want to say.
No. Like, obviously, when you're, again, it's like this sitting watching it in the comfort of your own home or whatever. It's very easy to be cynical, isn't it? And be like, I deliberately 100%. Went for Glenn. But I think he tried to go to the outside of the corner.
Yeah,
because obviously you wouldn't aim for the apex where you know certainly that you're gonna essentially get collected. He did kind of aim for the outside of the corner, which is where Glenn was coming across, and he collected the rear end. I don't know if I buy that one, to be honest. But wait, so they both got points penalty. So does that mean Glenn technically got minus points out of this weekend?
No, he stayed the same.
Right.
But he got 2 penalty points on his license.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I for some reason
screaming at Tommy.
Right. I for some reason interpreted it as like a deduction of 2 points from there.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Right.
Well,
Because I was going to say, like, when's that ever happened? When's anyone ever left with less points than they showed up with?
Yeah,
No,
that's
okay,
wild.
that makes sense. How many points are you allowed on a race license before you're banned?
Oh, BSB, they work it weird. Let's have a look. BSB points system. Here we go. So, oh no,
that's going to be like
right.
championship points, isn't it?
Penalty point system. There we go.
Mm.
So yeah, it's the MSVR.
Yeah.
So here we go. Oh god, there's a lot. This is a big document. I'll just
Oh, jeez.
Control F.
Ask ChatGPT.
There we go. Penalty points. Here we go. Right. So, penalty points. This is what MotoGP used to have, and it would be really nice to have it back. Penalty points may be given against any competitor by the race direction or MCR. My Chemical Romance. CV stewards. The penalty points may be given as a penalty in isolation or in an additional penalty to any breach of regulations. So, the points stand, I believe, for a full calendar year. Yeah, that's correct. So, automatic sanctions apply to riders accumulating 6, 9, and 12 penalty points as follows. A rider accumulating 6 penalty points will start the next race to compete from the last grid position. If that rider accumulates 9 penalty points, they'll start the next race to compete in from the pit lane exit. And if that rider then accumulates 12 penalty points, they'll be disqualified from participation in the next racer due to competing. And if penalty points are given in the last event and the last race of the season, it will roll on to the next season. And after completion of the sanction, the penalty points total will reset to 0.
Interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see that in MotoGP.
MotoGP used to have it. That's why Rossi had to start Valencia from last place in 2015.
When did they scrap
it
that?
Due to that they scrapped it due to Rossi starting from last place in 2015.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Well, I mean, I say I like that. I like the little journey of learning that I just went on.
Yeah. Well, some little more points thing from BSB. The last round at Brands Patch.
Brands Patch?
Brands Patch.
That's what it should be called.
Yeah. Well, the last round at Brands Hatch is coming up. 3 races.
Brands Patch.
And the last race, the points will change. And for a win, you will score 35 points.
Mm-hmm.
The second, 30. Third, 27. Fourth, 24. Fifth, 22. And then it goes down in 2 increments down to 15th place from there on.
Right. Yeah, so
there are a lot of points on offer. 105 points are now available at Brands, meaning that the top 8 can now win the championships. That's Iden, Brooks, O'Halloran, Jackson, Haslam, Ride, Irwin, and Bridewell. That's going to be spicy in 2 weeks' time, isn't it? I am watching that.
And then isn't there something I'm just looking at? Oh no, sorry, this was before Donington. I was just looking at a graphic that you sent there about like the chasing pack and everything and 180 points, but I think that was for Donington.
For Donington, yeah. But yeah, BSB has been spicy all year, and I'm really excited to see what's going on. If you don't watch BSB and you want some spice in your life, watch it. Like Nicolo Canepa, who's the Yamaha test rider for World Superbike, replaced or was the teammate of O'Halloran at the weekend. He replaced Tim Neve, who left the team ages ago. Tito Rabat then joined for a bit. Tito Rabat left because he had Moto E World Superbike, Superbike commitments, and was all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so they got Canepa in. And Canepa's first race at Donington Park, managing 230 horsepower with no traction control in the wet. And he got a top 10.
Wet as well.
Yeah, and he got a top 10. That is a baptism of fire.
You see the videos of Canepa like racing with Top Rack, and I'm really not surprised because he's got some hella pace on him. But
yeah, he does. Yeah,
like, for all these purists out there that are complaining about MotoGP with all of the aero and all the electronics and rider aids and blah blah blah, go watch BSB.
Yeah,
you got
honestly,
you got no electronic, like none, right?
Yeah, you got 3 races across the weekend as well.
You got 3 races. You haven't got aero. You've got tangible bikes that you can buy.
Got a bit of aero.
I mean, yeah, but you've got the tangible equivalent that you can go out and buy for the road.
Yeah.
And, you know, he just got like homebrewed guys from Lancaster, you know, just out ripping up the track, and it's great. It's
Yeah,
really...
and then going back to their day jobs on a Monday. Like Lee Jackson's, I think he's a plumber or he does something like that. You know, and it's like, what the hell?
That's it. You know, if you want to go, like, just see pure racing that is full of overtakes and sketchiness, and they're on tracks that are rather unforgiving because they're about 12 feet wide and you've not got big runoffs and everything. Like, yeah, BSB, especially this year, it's been incredible.
Oh yeah, it's been sensational.
Incredible championship to watch, yeah.
Yeah,
and the point system makes it interesting as well.
Yeah, and they throw these things in, and yeah, it's brilliant. They like do multiple tracks across the year. So we do Donington, but it'd be 2 different layouts, things like that. And,
yeah.
But yeah, last thing I'll say on BSB, who do you want to win the championship? Obviously, we've still got another podcast before that, but we may as well also talk about BSB.
Well, yeah, like, I don't know. Who are my contenders again?
So you've got Bridewell, Irwin,
yeah.
Ride, Haslam, Jackson, O'Halloran, and Brooks and Iden.
I remember going to a BSB years and years and years and years ago with my dad, and us being like, I don't know, just talking about Haslam quite a lot, and being like, I don't know, it's just sort of the sort of bias that you end up with because of whatever your parents like. And I was like, yeah, go Haslam, and I'm still kind of got that in there at heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go Haslam. And he's like, what, 106 years old now or something? So like,
he's either on the cusp or he's definitely at least 40.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Come on.
I think he's at least 30. He's 40, bang on.
40, bang on. Let's go.
40, bang on.
Is the only Beamer as well up in the...
Yeah, he's the only... No. Because you got Brooks on the BMR as well.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm going Haslam. That's not that we are biased in any way on this podcast to any particular riders, but if I had to choose, like I was just asked, I'm going with Haslam. What about you?
Nice. Okay. See, I don't know. I would... Right, take Tommy's recent things out of the equation recently. I would love for Tommy to win it because of Ollie. The whole reason Tommy does this thing and it stands on the podium, and he's got Ollie's name and his number and everything like that, it would just be a magical moment to see Tommy win it for Ollie. I think if you're taking everything into account of Tommy, what he's recently done, I'd want maybe Tommy to win it for Ollie again. But I would also love to see Glenn Irwin win it. I think it's out of them two, to be honest.
I mean, like... Realistically, it is, but if there's 105 points on offer, like, don't know, really don't know. It's gonna be interesting though. I'm gonna tune in. You best believe.
Oh yes, absolutely. Right, going back to MotoGP.
Oh.
At last. So it's funny because I led into it going, it's Monday today and we've had some interesting stuff today because I wanted to talk about Pedro Acosta, but we went on that little tangent, which is fine because it's just filled up 25 minutes of content. So yeah, but Pedro Acosta, it went a bit quiet because on Thursday, I think it was, last week, he spoke to DAZN, who basically asked him about what it would be like to do 44 races next year because we've had the calendar now released with Aragon back on the track, which I'm very happy about because I love Aragon. Yeah. I love it. It's one of my favourite tracks. Don't know why, but it's just a really good track. It's got everything corkscrew, it's got long straights, it's got, like really nice twisting, curving corners, really sharp corners. It's just got everything. So Pedro was asked about that, and then he then basically said, well, he doesn't know. Maybe he'll end up doing 22 races next year because he might stay in Moto2 kind of thing. And so it was like, okay, that's an interesting one. And then a few days later, MrSpeedweek.com, who, as I've said recently, are owned by Red Bull, meaning most of the time, if they make an article about a Red Bull athlete or a rider that's affiliated with the Red Bull team, most of the time they're pretty spot on because, of course, they've got the access to
insider knowledge.
Info.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a lot. They've also said that Honda are looking at Acosta for a Marc Marquez replacement. That's quite funny, but
right,
where I can't find it. Where on earth is it? They've basically said, in short, here we go. No, that's not it. Basically, they said, in short, they've got so many articles. They put an obscene amount out, that Augusto Fernandez will be relegated to a test rider role for next year, doing 6 races, and that his replacement will be Pedro Acosta, with KTM's goal being of having another grid slot next year in 2025, so the season after, for Augusto Fernandez. So yeah, that's an interesting one for you.
Not good enough, if you ask me.
No.
It's KTM's. I don't know. We've seen it before. They're getting rid of a promising rookie. Dare I say, more promising than the other 2 rookies that they got rid of. And they can say, "Oh, we're not getting rid of them because they're becoming a test rider." Who becomes a test rider after their first year, after the rookie season? Do you know what I mean? It's like, and if we're gonna go on results, then it should be Jack.
I agree. 100%.
As much as I love Jack and I love seeing him on the grid, and we love seeing him doing interviews and everything. If we're gonna go on results, he's got to be the one, and surely he would be more valuable as a test rider as well. He's got all this info from Ducati and Honda over the years, if you want to take it. Like, in terms of a more worthwhile person to be a test rider, even for a year, it's got to be Jack instead of Augusto. Just let Augusto keep building this momentum. Let him keep finishing races, which he's certainly finished more races than Jack. He's maybe not
he's finished 7th as well the other day, didn't he? Yesterday, finished 7th.
Like, he's maybe not had the same outright speed that Jack has shown every now and then, but like, he's brought home more data. Yeah, I don't know. I would say, like, sure, get like the rookie sensation that would be Pedro Acosta onto the factory KTM, just because, I don't know, hype and buzz, like, throw him up there. I'm sure, like, I don't know, Paul would be annoyed, or even Augusto would be annoyed at someone coming into the class and taking the factory seat, but I'm sure they'd probably come to be like, do you know what? I'm quite happy here in Tech 3, gas, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, let Jack just do bits behind the scenes. I mean, 6 wildcards as well. That's like...
It's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, like, not half. But it's a good chunk of races. Nearly. A third, yeah.
Yeah,
go with that.
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah. That's my thoughts. Yeah. My thoughts are, as much as I love Jack, in objectively, it should be him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Rickard Hover actually come out and said after this that it might not be true. They've not had anything official, which is fair enough.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of thing. But yeah, I would agree with the Jack thing as well. It's a problem that KTM themselves have made. Like, they knew that they had Pedro Costa pinned for a 2024 MotoGP seat, even before they signed Jack, before they signed Paul, before they signed Augusto Fernandez. Surely they would have thought the best thing they could have done is keep Remy for another year, and if he doesn't improve, replace him for Pedro Acosta. Then everyone's happy. Remy can be teammates with Augusto Fernandez. Paul Espargaro wouldn't have got a seat in KTM, but he could have got a test rider seat and then made his way back into MotoGP that way for KTM. But now, and that keeps kind of everybody happy, because Paul was really looking a bit iffy after his 2 years at Honda. So that would have, I think, kept everyone happy. But now they've put everyone on these 2-year contracts without thinking about Pedro Acosta, and suddenly they're left stuck.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way now whatsoever, full stop, that they can have a 5th MotoGP seat. That's confirmed now.
Yeah.
For next year, at least. So,
I don't know. It's almost like they they took the, shall we say, criticism from the Remy and Raul debacle.
Situation.
They took the criticism from that and were like, right, that's it. No more 1-year contracts. It's 2-year contracts. But then not realizing the rod further back that they were making with that one as well. I don't know. I wouldn't want to be at KTM. It's almost like they sort of, they've rolled the dice, because like quite often, we've seen it with Ducati this year, like quite often you sign promising riders and you make all these kind of promises and stuff, and quite often someone somewhere falls away, like Bastianini has this year. Sure, it's not his fault, he got injured and everything, but we probably should be seeing a bit more from him by now. And they were probably hoping for something like that to happen, where someone gets injured. I mean, to be fair, Paul did get really, really injured. Like, he probably would have died if it went for airbags and stuff. But but anyway, like, I think they were kind of maybe expecting him to not come back and be quite, and show the sort of strength that he did as well. Like, he's really doing well.
He's done well, yeah.
And I think they were just hoping for something easier to fall into their laps, to be like, oh, well, it's them. Like, let's replace them with Acosta. And they haven't. They've ended up with another sticky wicket where they're gonna disappoint some fans and a rider. And I wouldn't want to be making that call.
No, neither would I. Especially, it just seems harsh on Augusto Fernandez to kick him out as well, given the fact that he's 14th in the standards at the moment. As a rookie, he's at a 4th place at Le Mans. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top 10 finishes, including the 7th in Japan. The weekend just gone in really tricky conditions.
Yeah, horrible conditions.
As we speak, he's a reigning Moto2 world champion.
Yeah.
It just would not be fair whatsoever to kick him out.
No.
And then you look at Paul, like, he's a bit older, like, he would be great as a test rider. Binder is not even in the conversation whatsoever.
2040, they let go of him, I think.
And so really it's Miller or Paul.
Yeah.
So to choose Fernandez, given what's previously happened, it's like they've not even learned.
No, exactly.
They've not learned.
No, they've not learned. They've not thought ahead. I think people would be more angry at them getting rid of Paul than Jack. So I would go with Jack.
Yeah, like, Jack's got a loyal fan base and stuff like that, and yeah, people would be angry, but it wouldn't be fair on Jack either after 1 year.
No.
But at the end of the day, when you're in the factory team, you're kind of expected to do a bit better than he's been doing. The fact that both Aprilias are ahead of him in the championship at the moment, both factory Aprilias, that is. You know, Binder's miles ahead. It's like, Miller should at least be beating the Aprilias, I think, really.
And like, how many DNFs has he had?
1, 2, 3, only 4 to be fair, but he did have 14th in India, 15th in Austria. You know, results that KTM will not look at too pleased or too happy with. Especially when Binder's have 4 podiums and a multitude of sprint race podiums and wins.
And top 5s at least, you know.
Yeah, loads of top 5s. It's 4 overall.
It no matter what way you cut it, it's harsh on someone.
Yeah, it is.
That's it. That's the sport.
That's it. And like I said, these rumours aren't confirmed. It's just what Speed Week have put out. So it could be wrong. Speed Week have been known to be wrong before, but maybe we'll see announcements soon. I'm not sure. And another rider we are expecting an announcement from soon, who mentioned weeks ago that they'll make the decision around India or Japan about the 2024 season with a plan A, plan B, and plan C, was of course Marc Marquez.
Who?
Yeah, I don't know. Some guy stood on the podium, I think, this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally. But it's a weird one with Mark, because he went to like the Honda thing the other day and did all that Honda promo, and then did the interview that was like, oh, I'm not really sure now, and it sounded like he was hinting about staying. And then you've got Alex Marquez posted photos of a little Ducati by their TV, And then Gemma Pinto, his girlfriend, posting the same photos of Mark on the podium with a little Ducati in the corner of the screen. And then you've got Gigi Dall'Igna, who this is translated from Italian to English, so I apologise if it's not correct, by Google Translate. So I'm going to blame Google Translate. But I'm going to read what Gigi Dall'Igna has said to Sky Sports Italia, word for word, so that there is no confusion.
Okay.
So he was asked, is there the possibility of Marquez being on Ducati? What's his thoughts? Gigi said, Mark was one of the strongest riders in history, so the fact that he strongly wants to get on a Ducati can only be pleasing. He has decided to leave Honda for an unofficial Ducati. All the more, this underlines the fact that he wants our bike. That, to me, there's no way you can screw that around. He has explicitly said he has decided to leave Honda for an unofficial Ducati. Of course, it could be lost in translation.
It could be, and this is the thing between Spanish, Italian, whatever, and into English. Like, the syntax doesn't always work, and it can mean something else to us than what he said.
Yeah, well,
but interesting.
He goes on to say, so then Sky was like, oh, so we give it as an official decision made by Marquez? And then Gigi said, this is what I heard. Then clearly there isn't an official announcement yet, but I think there are a lot of things to do, and I think it's a complicated contract to break in the event that he wants to break it cleanly, I would assume. Because it says clearly, but I'm assuming cleanly.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that declarations are made of these from our point of view that they are pleasing, aka that he's going to go to Ducati. And then they asked stuff again about Marquez and stuff like that, and he said the rival is to be defined. There is no official announcement yet. So he went on to basically talk about the fact that he's very keen to have Marquez on their bike, but the fact that he so explicitly said,
yeah,
Marquez will be on our bike, we just have to break the contract with Honda, which is quite difficult to break.
And this is Gigi as well, this is
one of the top three men in Ducati. Yeah,
exactly. It's not some runner who's cleaning the brake discs or something. Like, this is. I mean, I don't want to downtread on whoever does detail the discs, brake discs, and whatever. Like, very important job. But I mean, it's not Gigi. Yeah. Really interesting, and like, I have to say, it is rather ironic that if we rewind to 2019, when Alex Marquez kind of just through merit, I am completely convinced, ends up on a Repsol Honda.
Yeah, for 2020. Yeah,
it was for 2020. Sorry. Yeah. And now, lo and behold, look how the turns table, my friends.
Turns table?
Yeah. It's an office quote, never mind.
Okay.
It's really funny when I got to explain it. Anyway, and now look, we've got Alex Marquez probably not really pulling some favors, but being like, hey, come into this team I'm in. It's great. You'll love it. And I just think it's I would love to see it. I really want to see Marc Marquez on a Ducati and doing all kinds of mad stuff on there, because it's V4 to V4. Yeah. There's not like a learning curve there or anything. And well, I mean, we saw the percentage gains between Alex Marquez on a Honda to Alex Marquez on a Ducati. If we get a similar percentage gain from Marc Marquez on a Honda, I mean, that's a race-winning percentage gain right there, if I'm going to say percentage gain again. I'm excited, and I hope it happens. I'd also be sad for Honda, though, because like, they're never going to win a race ever again. So
no, especially losing Rins as well.
Well, exactly. They've killed Rins, and I mean, Rins on a Honda at Kota is not going to beat Marquez on a Ducati at Kota. So
no chance. Yeah. Well, thing is, Cal Crutchlow as well said, because I've got the quote. I know you mentioned it. I've got the actual quote here.
Yeah.
He said, "I've always said if Marquez was to switch to a Ducati, no one else would even need to compete," because he would just absolutely bullets everyone.
And thing is, like, that's someone who knows Marquez's data inside out,
Yeah,
and has
it's
always
his
said
data,
it is the most ridiculous numbers you'll ever look at, and it's mythical. So, yeah, we can all speculate and we can all say whatever we want, but there's words from someone who intimately knows how Marquez rides a motorbike and says he would be a weapon. So that's surely an exciting prospect, I would say.
Oh yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to see what happens. We might get an announcement soon, I'm assuming, hopefully.
It sounds like it's going to happen, but God, I'm going to be so mad if all this hype has been for Marquez to be like, I've got a contract. What are you talking about? What are you on about? Like, I will be livid. I will cancel my Discovery Plus subscription.
Nice.
No, I
nice.
won't.
Love that. Well, like, the fact that he lives with Alex Marquez, there's probably had Alex Marquez in his ear all year long.
Telling him how great it is. Yeah.
Yeah, like, I'm on a year-old bike and I can still win sprint races.
Yep.
I can still do this. Yeah. It's going to be a very interesting one, that's all I'm saying.
And would Grassini get a GP23 next year?
Yeah, they go to the next year's or last year's bike, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
because they're on 22s at the moment. Yeah,
that's it. So I mean, they have said that the GP24 is going to be another step up again, which I find hard to believe. But picturing Marc Marquez on a GP23, surely, like, God, that's got to just, I don't know. That's
it's scary. To be honest.
Like race winning combo. It's got to be, surely.
Yeah,
like,
well, if
I can't imagine it not.
Yeah, like, no disrespect to any of the other riders who ride on a Ducati this year, but if, for example, Luca Marini can get on the podium on a Ducati, or if Pizzacci can win races on it, and Martin can win races on it, and Bagnaia can win races on them, who are all extremely talented riders, if a 9-8 time, he's not 9 yet,
not 9
time
yet.
world champion can step on a Ducati, he will then be a 9-time world champion and will potentially win every single race following that.
It's going to be 2019 all over again.
Yeah. But I would like to see it because he'll be able to battle again, I think.
Yeah.
Because he won't be scared of losing the front and tucking the front and this, that, and the other. Like, he crashes on that Honda just for fun because the bike just is like, you know what? I can't bother anymore.
He almost has
kind
to.
of thing.
It has to push it to the point where it's going to crash and it's just on a knife edge every time. And if he can find...
Ducati, he probably has...
Yeah, like, that's it. If you can find those kinds of limits on a Ducati, like, surely, I don't know. But then maybe a Ducati doesn't like to be ridden that way. It's just, things, like we say, things on paper, in theory, quite don't always translate to how it actually works.
But I think with the Ducati, it has such a massive working window.
Yeah.
The Honda is literally, like you said, on a knife edge. The Ducati, I think, like Pecco crashed because he said the bike was too stable earlier this year. I think because the Ducati has that much of a working window that the limit is so further away that you can ride it. Like when Alex said he could ride it the same way as he rode the Honda and was 2 seconds a lap faster and was probably nowhere near the limit.
Yeah. Exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah. Very exciting.
Please give the people what they want.
Yes,
Marquez.
Please.
But then is this not also having a knock-on effect on the Superbike grid? I feel like I read.
In what way?
I wish I'd taken more note of it. I can just remember things saying, I think it was like Rinaldi, potentially somebody else as well, saying like, oh, we're waiting for Marquez to decide where he's going, basically. But like, I can't in my mind think that if it's not Marquez, then it's Rinaldi for that seat. Do you know what I mean? So
my thing with that, from what you're saying, would be Marquez, Ducati, Lecuona, LCR, Zarco, Repsol, Rinaldi, Honda, World Superbike.
Ah. Oh, well, you're clearly much smarter than me because I didn't go there. So
That's the only thing I can think of. Or, because I can't imagine them putting Lecuona and Repsol and keeping Zarco in LCR. I can only imagine Zarco, who's already a Red Bull athlete, going to the Repsol squad.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think. And that's why they're waiting on Marquez, because if Marquez signs, they've already got Lecuona ready to hop on the RC 213V. It's
interesting, because there's this talk of it being a tricky contract to break, but it'll come down to money at the end of the day. And Marquez has enough euros to do what he likes, basically.
Yeah.
So
Marquez, he does what he wants.
He does what he wants. Yeah. He certainly does, and he's gonna.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see if he gives us what we want.
Yes. And another rider giving us what we want. Mr. Jorge Martin giving us a championship battle. Bagnaia had an obscene lead earlier this year, and that is narrowed down to 3 points.
It's crazy how the last couple of years now, well, this year and last year, we've had this insane pendulum swing sort of mid-season that's seen things really turn around. Because I think, I can remember after Bagnaia done the double at Portimao at the start of the year, I thought that was it, pretty much wrapped up then.
I was like, done.
Yeah, Ducati for the last couple of years have found their stride halfway through the season and then sort of been on top. And so I thought, well, if they're coming in this far ahead of everyone else, then no one's got a chance. But, well, I mean, to be fair, it's still a Ducati. But, who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thought Pecco would potentially start crumbling under pressure and Martin would have this sort of pit bull terrier-like resurgence?
Wild, isn't it?
It is. It's very wild and it's very exciting. And we needed it. And what's the deficit now? 3 points.
3 points.
All those races, Pecco.
6 races to go. So what is it? 37 times 6. It's 222 points on the table.
So in theory, who's the lowest rider that can still win? In theory.
That's 319 minus 222, 97 points. So, in 97. So, the riders that can still win are Alex Marquez, Fabio Quartararo, Jack Miller, Luca Marini, Vinales, Zarco, Aleix Espargaro, Brad Binder, Bezzecchi, Martin, and Bagnaia.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyone below 11th in the championship is out.
Right, okay. I mean, there's only really 3 of those that could potentially make it, but it's between Martin and Pecco, isn't it?
Yeah.
Unless something really bad happens.
Yeah, I mean, Bezzecchi's only 50 back.
Yeah. Could. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, if you won... So if you finish second in a sprint race, you get 9 points. You can pick 29 points up, right, for finishing second in both races. For finishing first in both races, you will get 37. That's an 8-point swing. Mm-hmm. If Bezzecchi won every single race now to the end of the season, he could still be champion, regardless of... And Bezzecchi Bagnaia or Martin can finish second each time and still...
8 times 6 is 48.
Oh.
So it'd be a couple shy, would it?
Oh, okay. No, it'd be tiny shy. Yeah, it would. So you'd have to win every race, and Bagnaia and Martin would have to finish third at least once or twice. Sorry, my bad. Terrible maths.
Oh, gosh, shocking. Well, I mean,
I know.
As unlikely as that scenario is, it's still interesting to know. I mean, well, if Bez pulls out performances like he did in India consistently, I mean, he's clearly got the speed and the talent. I think it comes down to team and he's not on a GP23, is he either?
No, and the big issue, he doesn't have the start device that Bagnaia and Martin have, and that's been his big thing. He even said it at the press conference the other day, and Bagnaia was making all sorts of gestures like, "Oh, we don't want him to have that."
Yeah, I saw him doing this Italian stereotypical, whatever.
And so I think Bezzecchi is hampered a little bit by that. I think he will get an official bike next year. Not confirmed, but I think that's going to be the case.
He's earned it.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's going to get an official bike because otherwise I think he'd have gone to Pramac and then Frankie would have gone to VR46. The only reason why I think he could stay, if he felt he could fight for the championship with VR46.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, if he had that device, maybe it'd be a little bit different. We don't know, but
I don't know, but
no,
I think we're probably talking a 2-horse race here, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. But Bagnaia's performance in Japan was not Bagnaia. Martin's performance. The fact that he was riding so far on the limit, still pushing it so hard each corner, and was staying on. Like, we know he's talented. He's a Moto3 world champion back in 2018. Ironically, Bagnaia was the Moto2 championship winner that year as well. So they got to stand in that little photo together with Marquez in the middle,
holding hands,
and they were teammates at Aspar. So it's quite ironic that he's now in a fight with Bagnaia. But Martin, if he can stay like this, because he won both races in Mazzano, won the sprint in India, won both races in Japan. He's got both race wins in Germany as well. He won the sprint in Le Mans. He's on a roll now. Pecco has been hindered by a DNS in Catalonia and then crash in India.
Yeah.
But Martin has beaten him in the last 3 rounds in every session.
Yeah.
Like, every single one, he's won. Even in the sprint races, Martin's beaten Bagnaia, and which has caused the gap to close dramatically, of course. And
yeah,
I think if Martin can stay like this, I think he can even go as far as saying he could run away with it.
Yeah, well, that's it. Like, if he is pulling away, let's say 8 points per weekend, doing the double, and Pecco gets a double second, he'll be, 45 points clear or something, you know?
Yeah, he would be 45, which is ridiculous.
Like, so he could have it wrapped up before Valencia if he really just kept winning. Is it Valencia the last round? Or is it,
it is.
Yeah. I didn't know whether Qatar had snuck in there.
No, well, to add to that, in the main race, Jorge Martin's last DNF was USA, which is the 3rd round of the season.
That's not what we've typically seen from Martin as well. Like last year as well, he was a bit of
he was very crash happy, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. I think he's found a way of making that extreme riding style work more consistently, which...
he has beautiful riding style, man.
It is wild, but like, it must be like the key to why he's so fast, because he's able to get his center of gravity and everything so low and so far off that bike that when he's cornering, he must just be able to pull it round just that little bit tighter and a little bit more efficiently than everybody else.
Get that gas on a tiny little bit earlier. Like, it was interesting because I think it was Matt Oxley published some data, and it was from Moto2, and it was like a red line was like the bottom half of the Moto2 grid, and the top half was the green line on it, was the top half of the Moto2 grid, and they compared the two, and the differences were minimal. Like, the fastest riders would often like drop a further gear than the other ones into some corners, but like you could see them like pick up on acceleration a fraction earlier, brake a fraction later, change their gearing a fraction slightly, maybe upshift a little bit earlier or downshift further, and stay in that lower gear a little bit longer than the slower riders. And honestly, when you see the data like that, it was from Mazzano, the data was. It is so minimal, and yet that whole cycle of that is probably worth half a second a lap.
Yeah, and over the course of over the course of a 40-minute race, you got a 30-second gap. Like,
and that's why you see them spread apart. And when you see Jorge Martin, the way he's riding, he might be just picking up that. Like you said, a fraction of a second. We're talking like 0.05 seconds earlier in some corners.
Yeah, like probably even less. And because he's hanging so far off the bike, he's able to just get the bike stood up a little bit more coming out of the corner. So there's less traction control having to interfere with that power delivery and everything. It's just all these tiny little bits that'll come into it. That will be making these lap times, and it seems like he's always been a bit of a pole hound, but it seems like he's getting it dialed in for race pace now as well, which is pretty dangerous, as we're seeing. Like, he's getting doubles and wins and at least podiums for like consistently now.
Yeah, and it's sensational, and I'm really excited to see how he goes, I think.
Yeah, it's great to watch at least. And he's got a little bit of spice as well. You know, he's not like a sort of placid character like Pecco, shall we say. He's got
a bit of personality, hasn't he?
Yeah, he likes to toot his own horn, shall we say.
Yeah, but he's an interesting fellow. Like, I still remember the photo of him in that strip club years ago.
I don't know it. I do not know it. Do you not? No.
He posted on his Instagram. I'm not going to put it. I'll put it in the chat, right? If I can find it.
Audio description.
Yeah, stuff like that. I think it's with a leash. There's a photo of him snogging a leash on the internet somewhere as well.
Incredible.
But yeah, here we go.
Jeez,
he's just a bit of a fella, really.
Bit of a fella.
There you go.
Bloody hell.
So for context, is him stood there with 5 women around him, dressed in police attire?
Yeah, we'll call it police attire. I don't think that's official uniform.
No, but he's just like
it's quite shiny.
Yeah, it is. But that's just kind of the guy he is, though. You know, he's just a bit of a
lad, isn't he? Woo.
Yeah, woo. Yeah. But I don't know. He's just got a bit of personality. Like Bagnaia's personality is crashing cars when you're drunk, whereas Martin just, I don't know. Like, even in the paddock and stuff, he just has that charisma, I guess, that a lot of riders don't have. I like his interviews. He's quite
a little bit more unhinged, isn't he?
Yeah,
just a little bit
like
more
Arbolino.
Yeah, just got that like mad thing behind the eyes. We're like, oh shit, what's he gonna say? What's he gonna say? You know, I can't imagine if it was Bridewell that took out Martin. Oh boy, I think there would have been words. Yeah, but alas, we'll likely never ever see that.
No, thankfully not. But yeah, on to another thing in MotoGP with Marc Marquez getting a podium, his first podium of the year, believe it or not.
In the main race, or just at all?
Yeah, he's had a sprint race podium, but in the main race, yeah.
Given what bike he's on, can't say I'm surprised, but then like,
it's the thing. Wet conditions bring out the talented riders.
They do,
because it's the ultimate leveler.
Yep, and he was closing.
He was closing on that victory as well, wasn't he?
He really was.
Pecco Bagnaia, at least.
He was, 0.4, 0.5 of a second quicker than both Martin and Pecco, like in the last couple of laps, which is nuts. That's such an advantage in the rain.
It's unbelievable.
Tricky to pass in the rain, but I mean, if anyone can make it work, it would be Marquez. I'm sure we're sounding like Marquez fans here.
We are. I don't like it, but it's like, I remember when, was it Sachsenring years ago when it was like wet conditions and he just it was miles back and then he just switched tyres onto slicks and it was still like pretty wet, the track. And he went on slicks. Paul Spargo followed him in. Paul made about 2 corners and crashed.
Yeah.
And Marquez just took chunks out of absolutely everyone and went and won the race.
Well, that's it. There was that one line of dry around the track, wasn't it? It was basically if you went off that, you were down. And Mark just seemed to be able to follow it. He got the heat in the tyres and he won it, right? Of course he did. He's pretty much unbeaten there, except this year.
Yeah, didn't race this year, so it doesn't count.
Aha, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I say, the rain levels it, and he was going faster than everyone else before it was brought to a close. Quite rightly, though, I might add. I think Race Direction got that right because it was monsoon-like. It was, you couldn't see.
Yeah. It was really bad.
Yeah.
Martin went up pit lane like, I can't see, and then he kind of, like, you could see his mechanics cheering, and then you could just click his eyes, click and go, I've won the race.
Yes!
I was like, whoa!
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah, I was instant elation, like, wow.
And then
Yeah,
you
there's
could.
a rider.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Karen.
No, I was just, then you saw Pecco like 6 feet behind him, being like, "Oh, great, cool."
Yeah, God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, for God's sake. Yeah, there is another rider I want to give another shout out to. I give a shout out to him most weeks at the moment. That is, of course, Mr. Ralph Fernandez with a third straight top 10 finish. 9th place in Japan.
Yep. What were we saying about it being a leveler?
I'm quite impressed by him. As we know, he's doing all right. Like, he's been a bit of a slow burner in MotoGP, but he's coming good. Like, he's beaten Miguel Oliveira in the last 2 races.
Yeah.
Fair and square.
He's
Also,
getting
Miguel
there.
had a bit of a crap race in Japan, of course, but
Yeah, shame that, because he was fast.
yeah, he was, but he's coming good, and I'm very excited for him. Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, get into halfway through next season, I think we'll be seeing him on the telly a little bit more, because he won't be in the battles that for some reason we never get to see. So
No,
yeah,
that's it. Yeah, I'm quite impressed by him.
Yep.
The podcast is dragging on, so we'll do Moto 2, Moto 3 quickly, and then we'll go to predictions.
Oh.
Ooh. So, have you seen it or not?
No.
Okay, cool. Right. So, Moto 2 confirmation over the weekend. Ayumu Sasaki will move to the VR46 Master Camp squad next year, Moto 2.
Cool, finally.
Weird,
Excellent.
because I expected him to be in Intact. I did hear the rumour of him going to the VR46 squad on like Thursday last week. And I was a bit like, huh? But it's official, so...
Cool.
But yeah, Moto 2, interesting, was the Chantra victory again in the wet conditions. Team Asia 1-2 as well, with Agura in second place.
Yeah, just like I predicted last week.
Yeah.
For India, not Japan.
Did you actually? Oh my god, you did as well. Chantra and Agura and Acosta third.
I had the podium, but the wrong week.
In the right order. And you even had pole position correct as well.
I honestly carry on. I'm not going to dwell.
Ouch. But yeah, Acosta now has a 50-point lead.
It's his championship, really, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
Just time for him to get to MotoGP, right?
Yeah. He's got one hand on the trophy, as they say.
Yeah, way. Yeah. So he's doing really well. And then in Moto 3, Jaume Masia is a new title leader.
Yep, I think that's the way it's going to stay.
Me too. He's been on fire.
Yeah.
The last 4 races. He obviously won India, won Japan. He's leapfrogged Holgado. So and Holgado's down to 3rd overall now. With Sasaki also ahead of him. He leads Ayumu Sasaki by 6 points. Sasaki must be getting sick of not winning a race at this point.
I know. When was his last one?
It was last year.
Last year. It was like Argentina or something. Or was that Pole?
His last win was Austria last year.
Ah. Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah. But hey, he's getting promoted, so.
Yeah, but Masia's going to SAG, which is like a really not one of the best motor teams at all. So I'm quite intrigued by that, because if he wins the Moto 3 World Championship to then go to the SAG.
And Moto 2's like, it's a really weird grid, I think. In my opinion, there are a lot of like forgettable riders.
Yeah,
I don't
riders that you're like, oh yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah, and I was like, not like being mean or anything by that, but like I feel like the Moto 3 grid and obviously the MotoGP grid, like you kind of, I don't know, I can like recall more of those, of those riders, like off the top of my head, whereas like once I've maybe thought of 5 Moto 2 riders, I'm like, then who, And so I guess the point I'm getting at is, it's not like the the grid is so stacked that his only option was to join like a C tier team. Like, I don't know what the script is there.
No, it's a weird one. Maybe they offered to pay for a seat because they got Petamina, and so he wouldn't have to pay to ride a Moto2. I don't know. Because there's a lot of fellas in Moto2 that will be out. I think Tulovic might be out. Darren Binder will be out next year. Jonathan van den Goldberg, I thought would maybe be out, but he's got points in the last 2 races with a 6th and a 9th.
Doing well.
Very impressive. Yeah, really well. So I can't see him being out. Marcos Ramirez hasn't got a seat for next year at the moment, despite finishing in the top 10 in the last 2 races. Jeremy Alcoba hasn't got a seat. Just going up the order. Now all these guys have been confirmed, to be fair. So, it's just a bit weird. There's better teams on offer.
That's it. I feel like maybe Messia could have slotted in at Gresini or something then too. Was it Alcoba? Is it Alcoba that's on Gresini? Yeah,
Alcoba, yeah. It's a Renas and nobody at the moment.
Yeah, like that almost feels more sensical.
Suited,
if that's the word. Interesting.
We'll see how it goes, I guess. Yeah, but Dennis Onchu doing what he does best, riding a bit too aggressively and crashing out of the race.
I unfortunately didn't see Moto3 because it was at 4 in the morning or something. So.
Yeah, well, Onchu was battling and Sasaki was even shaking his head at him for his aggressive moves, and then a few laps later he's down. So silly boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Holgado got back on the box as well, which is nice. And that's Moto3 really.
That was it.
It wasn't really too eventful, to be honest.
No,
but I have been told that there are some changes next year in the Moto3 grid, with the Bow Moto3 squad likely to sign David Salvador, meaning Anna Carrasco hasn't got a place anywhere on next year's grid at the moment.
Right.
Romano Fenati's been in talks, or I've been told that he's in talks with the Intact GP squad to replace Sasaki, because next year can be his final Moto3 year.
I thought this year was. Oh, okay.
So did I, but he's literally born January the 15th. So he's 15 days lucky.
Wow. Wow. Gosh. Wow. It's weird. In my mind, Fenati is like much older than me, but I mean, clearly not, because he's racing in Moto3. But I don't know. Just in my mind, I'm like, that's an old dude there. But
he feels like it's been forever, because we got a podium in his second ever race, didn't he, back in 2012?
Yeah,
he's around for donkeys.
No wonder I feel like he's older than me. But that's just me being mental. So
well, because he's just had a strange career. He really has.
Yeah.
Very odd. But we'll go on to the predictions now. Before we do that.
Oh, no.
Shout out to Nicolo Balega and Mr. Buiz in Supersport 600 and Supersport 300 for being crowned world champions. Balega will replace Rinaldi at the Aruba IT squad next year in World Superbike as well. So, predictions, because we are lagging. It's getting late.
I don't know what's happening. Yeah.
No.
Oh, God. I'm not looking forward to this, if I'm honest.
So, going into Japan from India, Cameron leads with 207 points. Myself in 199 after making up a deficit of like 21 points to bring it to 8. And then Lauren in third with 124. So, Moto3, Jaime Messia got pole. You and me went for Sasaki, Lauren Moreira. In the race, it was Messia, Sasaki, Holgado. I went for Messia to win, Holgado, then Sasaki. So I scoop up a whole 15 points for getting all 3 riders on the podium.
Right.
Cameron went for Sasaki, then Messia, then Via. So you get 2 points because both riders were on the podium.
That is
but in the wrong places.
Disgusting rule.
Oh, just you wait. And then Lauren went for Alonso, Messia, Sasaki, and gets 2 points as well. So Going into Moto 2, I lead with 214, Cameron with 209, and Lauren with 126. I finally have taken a flipping lead.
It was inevitable.
At last, after taking like 2 points out of you week on week.
Jesus. Right.
But it's not that long-lived.
Oh, no. Okay.
Because Moto 2, it was Chantra on pole, Yumi went Acosta, Lauren Arbellino.
Okay.
Then in the race, it was Chantra 1, Ogura 2nd, Acosta 3rd. I went Acosta, Canet, Dixon, so I get 1 point because Acosta was 3rd and I put him to win.
Mm-hmm.
You went for Acosta, Ogura, Lopez, so you get 6 points.
Oh.
And Lauren went Acosta, Arbellino, Dixon. So the points now are you and me tied with 215.
Oh, my God.
And Lauren with 127.
Oh, all right.
But
Oh, jeez.
in MotoGP, Jorge Martin got pole. I went for Martin. You went for Marquez and Lauren Bazecchi. In the sprint race, it was Martin again. I went for Martin. So did you.
Oh.
And Lauren went Marquez. So I currently lead by 1 point.
Oh.
In the race, it was Martin, Bagnaia, Marquez. I went for Martin, Bagnaia, Binder.
Yeah.
You went for Bazecchi, Martin, Zarco. And Lauren went Martin, Bazecchi, Marquez. Meaning I scored 26, you scored 11, and Lauren 15. So the points leaving Japan and heading to Indonesia are myself with 241.
Wait.
You with 226. What? I scored 26 points.
From the MotoGP podium. What?
And so I got 10 for Martin win,
Oh, yeah.
the main race.
Uh-huh.
10 for Martin on the sprint race as well.
Oh, yeah.
1 for pole and 5 for Mark Bagnaia getting second.
Okay.
So we
Yeah.
had 26. You are in second with 226. So that's what, 15 point
15.
lead now?
Mhm.
And then Lauren's got 142. So now
Oh.
I'm in pole position. Let's go.
The only way is to fall, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
As
So-
you found out.
I distinctly remember last week someone's going to like play this back and prove me wrong, but I
God.
feel like you in the podium, you were like Martin, Bagnaia, and then Binder or whatever. And I was like, well, I'm not going to pick Martin to win the same as you because I just picked Martin to win the sprint the same as you. So I was like, right, I'll go with Bez instead, the other one, really.
Yeah.
And look what it's done. I told you I was going to keep this championship spicy because if I'm
Yeah.
honest, I'd have run away with it by now.
Obviously.
If I went with the riders that I wanted to, and not just I deliberately sandbag it to allow you to catch up, then so really you're welcome.
Yeah, thanks for that. Appreciate it.
I don't know, Lauren, what's going on with you, but I can't. I can only drag my heels so much, I'm afraid. So.
Yeah.
She's
alright though.
Yeah. When did
Make something.
when did I have 140 points?
You had 140 points back in. So she's on what, 142? You had 140. You had 139 in Assen and 147 at Silverstone.
Okay.
She had 84.
Oh, jeez.
I will simplify the points a bit better for next year, though. Don't worry.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. It's like how BSB's point system's mental. It keeps things interesting, I suppose. But then can also end up with sort of a runaway deficit like we almost have now. So I don't know.
Well, you
We'll
had
think
it for ages. You had a 21 point. You had 22 point lead the other week.
Yeah, well, as we've seen, like that can quickly be overturned. So actually, Lauren, come on. Come on.
Yeah, because you got a full 20 bag the other week.
Yeah, I did at India.
No, Mazzano, you did.
Oh, it was sorry, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Don't even know. Goodness me. Anyway, that's fun. How exciting. Where is it we're going next? Thailand.
Indonesia.
Indonesia. Oh, I don't know Indonesia too well.
Good track. I like Indonesia.
I'm going to have to do some research.
Okay. Well, I think that's all we've got time for.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Nice. Great.
Okay. Good night, everyone.
Yeah, good night and thank you for listening. We're back next time. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye. Bye.